Hey, good afternoon, guys. It is late on a Sunday afternoon. It's about 3 o'clock. Got a pretty late start. Haven't been up in the mountains for a couple of weeks. It's just been real busy at church and just a lot of stuff going on. I'm trying to make a quick dash to get a trail camera hung in the unit where Caleb and I each have a cow elk tag. I'd hoped to come up last week. I just didn't have the time to do it. The season starts in 9 days, so not a lot of lead time. The good thing about that is if we do find elk on the camera, obviously there's a good chance they'll still be here in 9 days if they don't get blown out of here. So hopefully we can find the right spot, get them put up. It's supposed to be 94 today, which is obviously pretty hot. But I've been lucky. We had a storm that moved in, a thunderstorm, and it's brought a lot of cloud cover. So it's considerably cooler. I'd say it's probably maybe 85, 86, which I'm very grateful for that. So we'll get up here. It's about 5 miles to where I want to get to put this camera. So I'm not planning to do any shed hunting or anything like that, especially on the way up. If I get up there and get it set, and we have time, maybe I'll do some on the way down. So thanks for coming along today. Hope you're having a good weekend. Guys, it's sprinkling a little bit. I forgot my hat. If you've watched very many of the videos, you probably noticed that I hardly ever hike without a hat. But I came straight from church today and just forgot to pack one. The other thing is I left my binoculars in the truck. I realized it about half a mile up the trail. I didn't go back and get them, so but I'm not going to complain about it. I gave a message today at church on grumbling and complaining. We're doing a 4-week series called My Big Fat Mouth. I'll put a link to some of the videos from that series in the description of this video. But anyway, last week we talked about criticism. This week we talked about complaining. And we looked at the Israelites in the Old Testament. One of the verses that really stood out to me was Exodus 16:8. And so this is shortly after God had parted the Red Sea for the Israelites. He had destroyed Pharaoh's army. They make it through the Red Sea. And then they start grumbling and complaining because they don't have anything to eat. And they say, you know, when we were back in Egypt, we sat around pots of food and ate all we wanted, which was an exaggeration, obviously. Did you bring us out here in the desert to starve us to death? And Moses' response really convicted me today, or convicted me as I was preparing to give that message. He says, who are you grumbling against? You're not grumbling against us, you're grumbling against God. And man, that was pretty sobering for me to think that when we're complaining, we're not really complaining about our boss, or about our spouse, or about our health, or about money, but we're complaining against God. And basically what God hears when we complain is, God, you're not big enough, you're not strong enough, you're not powerful enough, you're not wise enough, you're not trustworthy enough, you don't love me enough. And that obviously couldn't be farther from the truth. And so I just want to encourage you, if you are in a situation where you found yourself grumbling and complaining a lot, to replace that grumbling with an attitude of thanksgiving. Because God is definitely big enough. He's definitely powerful enough. He's definitely trustworthy enough. And probably most importantly, He loves you enough. So that's my encouragement to you. If you have any questions or if there's anything that I can do to help you, let me know. Feel free to comment below. But hopefully we can get up here and get this trail camera hung before it gets dark and get back out of here. Thanks, guys. Hey guys, this is pretty cool. It says Salt Ground number 6. Looks like U.S. Forest Service. I don't know how old that sign is. Certainly been up here a while. As you can see, I'm way up. Not quite at the top of the ridge. I'm probably 3/4 of the way up, but quite a bit back in here. So, not sure what salt ground number 6 means, but kind of cool. Maybe some of you guys know where I'm at based on seeing that sign, if you've been up here before. Well guys, I finally got into some elk sign. I've been hiking about 3.5 hours. And I've seen very little, actually deer and elk sign. I just haven't seen many tracks. Not very many fresh droppings. I'm almost at the top of the ridge, so gained a little more elevation. I think I'm finally in the area where they've been hanging out. There's several pretty good game trails up here. You can see this is a bedding area up here in these pines. There's several different beds up in here. So anyway, I got the trail camera hung, facing north. I always like to hang mine facing the north. It seems like the sun and the shadows don't play with them as much that way and give me false positives. But the other thing I forgot, in addition to my hat and my binoculars, is the salt. And I even stopped at the store after church to get salt and then walked right out and didn't buy any salt. So just another good reason for me to make a checklist. I always seem to forget something when I don't do a checklist. So, but anyway, I still went ahead and put it up. And I've never hunted this area before for cow elk, so if nothing else, if nothing shows up on this trail camera the next week, I know it's an area I can kind of eliminate that doesn't have any activity in it, and we'll go somewhere else. So, but I'm gonna sit here and get a snack real quick, and then start hiking back out. And appreciate you guys coming along today. Little snake I almost stepped on walking back down the trail. He doesn't have much coloration at all. Just hanging out. I saw another little kind of black, water snake earlier. I tried to grab his tail, but he was too fast. This guy's pretty docile. Zoom back out. It's long enough, I can't get all of them in the frame. Pretty cool. I don't mind snakes as long as they're not rattlesnakes. I don't like rattlesnakes at all, but other snakes don't really bug me.